these teams head to the floor. Starters with a round of high fives to each other. There's Schrader and the Fighting Irish. Alexander referenced the 5-set loss to Miami, another 5-set loss to Georgia Tech, taking a set off of a top 5 Stanford. And here's what's at stake for Notre Dame, their first ranked win under coach Salima Rockwell. And for Florida State, they're looking for their 5th straight against Notre Dame. Lauren Robertson is back to get us underway, one of Florida State's 2-setters in their 6-2 system. And the transfer from Memphis will do the honors as we get started here in Tully Gym. Off the right side, there's Lucy Trump, the junior from Florence, Kentucky.
And I've enjoyed watching her play. She's got a great shot down the line. We'll look to see if she can continue that today.
She has 15 matches with 10 or more kills over the course of her Notre Dame career. When she gets going, she can really score. Out of the middle, Corey Lewis. Here goes Trump off speed, picked up by Kylene Filamawa. Second effort for Taylor Head, and it's a kill off the block.
And really some good, I think some good play at the net on both teams, changing it up a little bit, a hard hit, and then a couple of tips. Good ball control on both teams to get that back in system.
1 point all in the first set as Taylor Head goes back to serve. The Fighting Irish out of system. Snyder caught a hand, and she's on the board.
And Snyder's got a great left-handed swing. We're going to see her get up and really hit it cross-court, sharp angle, tough to dig up.
And for Florida State running that 6-2, coach, how important is it going to be for them to get some consistent production over there on that right side?
Well, because she's the only one that's going to swing from the right side, the next, when we get the setter back up in the front row, it's a little bit different.
That sends Lucy Trump back to serve. Audrey Koenig off hands and out of play.
Really smart. You can see she just took a hold of that ball and wiped it off the hands. Really about the only thing she could do with that tight set.
And that swing was long from Morgan Gardy, the freshman outside hitter at 6'4" out of Indiana.
And really a smart shot to try and go back toward that end line.
Back set Schrader. And there's Gardy going cross.
I think we're going to see a lot of different options offensively on both teams. They really like to spread the ball out. You can see that's a nice sharp angle going toward the sideline.
And so the freshman will go back to serve with Notre Dame trailing by 1 in this opening set, early goings. Perry keeps it up. And Koenig goes to the back corner, dug up by Hattie Monson. Gardy out of the back row, off hands and out.
And she's got a big block up there against her. She's able to hit it off of their hands. High hands, deflects off the court.
The freshman coming off her first career double-double against Miami. 16 kills, 10 digs. Showing off the jump top as well. Back row attack for Florida State. That was something they really got cooking latter stages against Louisville. No touch is the call on the attack. We'll see if Salima Rockwell intends to challenge. And she will.
Yeah, a little bit of discussion with Coach Rockwell and the referee whether or not they called a touch. They did not, so she wants to take one of her challenges here.
Each team receives 2 challenges for the match. If you are correct and you get the call that you're challenging overturned, you retain your challenge for the balance of the match. And the call here is that there was no touch, and it was an attack error on Notre Dame.
And I think Schrader's trying to hit it off of her hands, out of bounds.
And a quick overturn of the call, and that's why.
An excellent, I think, excellent call by Saliba Rockwell to call for that challenge.
So Notre Dame keeps their 2 challenges, and they also flip the scoreboard. Now they lead 5-4. Great defensive effort by the Fighting Irish, but a heads-up play by Kelsey Perry, putting the ball where everybody else isn't.
And that's what you've got to do. She had to see it, that open spot on the court, just tipped it right up near the net.
That puts an end to a 3-0 run for Notre Dame. Kelsey Perry, the transfer from Iowa State. As Kaylee Dockery subs in to the back row for the Fighting Irish. Kenneth Phelan also checking in, FSU's second setter in this 6-2. Sydney Palazzolo on the attack. Audrey Koenig on the attack as well. And there will be a touch call from Wesley Radigan, and Mark Prater are up and down referees.
Really good ball control. I thought Florida State saved something that could have been a disaster and got a great swing off of it.
Already 5 kills on 9 swings for the Noles. No errors to this point. There's a service error, though. Kenneth Phelan going with the float serve. It floats out of play.
I enjoy watching her play. She is a competitor that really likes to fight hard to win.
And so off that service error, Hattie Monson checks in. Has been a staple for the Fighting Irish year after year. Taylor Head, the transfer from Arkansas, rises and fires. Monson digs it over the net, and they're winning the joust is Anna Bjork, a freshman middle blocker out of Wisconsin.
And Notre Dame dug the ball up. Probably didn't want to put it on top of the net, but Notre Dame blockers were sharp and out-pushed Florida State.
You know, top 10 in the ACC in hitting percentage coming into tonight's matchup. Koenig operating off the right. Palazzolo on the attack, tipped back. Schrader off speed. That'll work.
And that's successful for her because she's hit a few balls hard. She's hit them high off their hands, and then she can just drop in that tip.
Schrader, the senior from Iowa, has played a variety of different positions. There have been matches where she has hit on the outside. There have been matches where she's hit on the opposite. There have been matches where she's only set.
A great utility player. I mean, that's a fun player to coach because you know you can put her anywhere, and she does a super job with it.
For the most part this year, she has set primarily in the 6-2 and then rotates up to the front row to do that.
And so that hard hit will set her up again for another tip if she wants to. Defense, you've got to stay back to dig that. And the Florida State defender is in the right spot, but it is just too hot to handle.
Good rotation through the front row for Fiona Schrader, who now goes back to serve, averaging 2.84 kills per set offensively. There's a service error, point back to Florida State.
So now she comes back as the setter and has got to run the offense and think completely differently.
Bump to Trump. Taylor Head looking for the back corner, didn't find it. That's an attack error and a point to Notre Dame.
Taylor Head's such a good player. While she's only 5'10", she's got an excellent jump. Volleyball IQ is high. She knows what she's doing with the ball every time.
We'll see if Florida State can get her going. Phelan will set Corey Lewis out of the middle. Bjork takes a big swing out of the middle. Lewis once again turned back by Bjork. Another point for Notre Dame.
And those last 2 sets to her in the middle just need to be a little higher. She's got such a nice high jump. She gets her arm up straight. Just another inch or 2 higher and she can put that ball away.
That's tight. And that is an illegal back row attack on Kenneth Thielen. Anytime that back row setter goes up, touches the ball, and it crosses over the net, you're going to get called for it.
Well, it was the setter still had the right to contact it and set it, and she actually reached over and kind of what we would call attack the setter. And you've got to give her the right to set it. And not a lot of people can jump up that high and reach over and block, so it's a great problem to have.
So after Florida State sides out, Lauren Robertson up there to serve, and up there is the operative word for Corey Lewis, who returns the favor off the block that she suffered a couple points ago.
Just right place, right time. Notre Dame really should try to hit the angle on that, but it was a little tight. Tough to get around Corey, who's penetrating the net.
Back set, Trump off the block. That's tight. Off speed by Corey Lewis. And there's another block for Notre Dame.
Trump had herself in the right position at the right time. And again, timing is everything in the block. Really reaching over there and just handling those short shots. And then this swing, you can see she's clear across the net.
It's a Notre Dame team that averages a little over 2 blocks per set. Not one of their strongest suits. In fact, in the lower third of the ACC statistically. But, Coach, that's why you play the game.
Exactly. I mean, you never know how it's going to turn out, but I think we've seen some great blocking from him here.
Absolutely. Back set, Trump dug up by Head. And Snyder comes down without the ball.
And we've seen Florida State dig the ball tight on top of the net, and that's just a 50-50 chance of who's going to get that next one.
So as we approach the midway point, it is Notre Dame on the road with a 2-point lead. Lewis out of the middle, and Florida State got her going early against Louisville. Tapered off since. It'll be important for the Noles to get her going again.
And you can see this ball's just a little bit higher, and she can really stretch up and rotate her forearm and get that ball straight down. And if she can, they can continue to feed her the ball, that really opens up everyone else on the outside.
And when Florida State's got things going well, they will try to feed her as often as possible. Gardy on the attack. Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, second effort for the freshman. Snyder, good looking swing there for Maddie Snyder.
Looks like she had a great shot right through the seam of the block. Wasn't completely closed. And again, it's a little different playing against a lefty. Got to make sure you position yourself correctly.
Ella Gaona checks in as a defensive specialist here for Florida State. Schrader off speed over the block and down.
So we've seen that several times from her, and the defense has got to really focus on her arm swing. As soon as they see that arm slow down and that hand form, open hand for a tip, they've got to make sure they charge in there just a little quicker.
4 kills on 6 swings for Fiona Schrader, hitting north of 600 early. Gardy targets Koenig, and that pass was tight. Snyder, another smart shot, tooling the block for the kill.
And I think we've seen all of the outsides really be smart, and they don't want to make an error, so just hitting it off of somebody's block softly counts as a point.
14 all. Next point will take us to the midway media break here in set 1. Monson jammed up a bit there on serve receive, and Schrader is able to tool the block for the kill. Drifted just over that sideline, so it's a 5th kill for Fiona Schrader, and Notre Dame leads it 15-14 midway set 1.
It wasn't hard. With Cologuard, I did it my way.
Cola, huh?
Cologuard.
Cologuard is for people 45 plus at average risk, not high risk. False positive and negative results.
She's setting and hitting.
Jane Henke checks in for Florida State and pops the ball over. And there's another good swing for Notre Dame off the edge of the block and down. There's a kill for Sydney Palazzolo.
Really a smart play, just trying to hit it off the inside hand of Kelsey Perry for Florida State.
First kill of the match for Palazzolo, the transfer from High Point a season ago. Here's Janae Henke. Once again on the attack. Palazzolo off speed, picked up by Henke. Ella Sant calls her own number. Koenig stifled by the block. Henke shoves it to the back corner. Great defense by Notre Dame.
Wow, lots of tactics and strategy there. Really lots of different things that we saw happening, and defensively some dives, some layouts, some pickups. Unbelievable.
What a start for the Fighting Irish on the road here today. Kenna Phelan. The campfire was wide open, and that's exactly where she put the volleyball.
And you gotta love it when the setters get into a little bit of a battle where they try and score on that second attack. And I like, that's one of my favorite parts of the game. But it's clearly Notre Dame's seeing something with Florida State. They're having a lot of tips and off speed, so Florida State's gonna have to figure out how to cover that.
Service error there by Audrey Koenig re-extends the lead to 3 for Notre Dame. Really about as big a lead as either team has enjoyed here in this set. As Fiona Schrader heads back to the back row. Henke off the right. And that is a good sign for Florida State. She's got the ability to crank balls like that.
We haven't seen too many hits down the line on that right side, so it's different. With right-handed, she's going to go for that line. I think that's always effective.
The junior from Ulm, Germany, who started her collegiate career at Cal State Los Angeles, won a D2 national championship, was an All-American there as well. And that is big time for Florida State. They're getting the block going. Henke off the right side, teaming up with Corey Lewis straight down.
And that's just a big block. Both of them 6'3", really got all 4 hands across the net. Very intimidating to try and hit against that.
Nice rotation across the net for Henke, who takes up that overpass. And Corey Lewis swings away to perfection for Florida State. And just like that, we're knotted up at 18.
And if we can get Corey Lewis and the swings that she needs, it's going to be tough for Notre Dame to go after it. They were able to pursue that ball, but just ran into the seats. A little too tight in here.
Dockery jammed up on serve, receive. But Notre Dame sides out anyway. That puts an end to a 3-0 run for Florida State and pushes the Fighting Irish ahead by 1 once more. And so off her second kill of this match, Sydney Palazzolo goes back to serve. Henke, sharp cross. Guardy played up by Filamaua. Head turned back, picked up by Filamaua. Good defense here by Florida State. And great defense as well by Notre Dame. And Taylor Head goes off speed to knot us up again.
A good idea, again, just to change it up a little bit, put it in the middle of the group of people and make them make a decision who's going to get to the ball.
Second kill of the match for Taylor Head. Maddie Snyder is the Seminoles' leading scorer. 3 kills on 4 swings for Snyder, number 10 in black, who you see on your screen there. Lauren Robertson back to serve. Back set goes to Trump. Head turned back. Second effort, Head turned back. Guardy off the block. Taylor Head rolls it over the edge of the block and down.
And we haven't heard Audrey Koenig hitting a lot of balls, but boy, she played some defense back there. Got a couple of great digs. And this, again, is just smart. You get blocked, you've got to change it up.
Timeout Notre Dame. FSU on a run. Taylor Head, with her third kill to go along with 3 digs, has been a key part of it.
And I really enjoy watching her play. I know she's a star player that comes in as a graduate student, but boy, she's smart all the way around, front row and back row.
And with more on Taylor Head, here's the third member of our crew, Alexandra DiCapua.
Well, guys, we know Taylor Head was an All-American over in Arkansas, but just on Friday night, she had 15 kills. And here at Florida State, that's her season high. She said that her setter, Kenneth Field, executed the tempo. All the setters need to work together, and the hitters have needed different sets all season long. So the setters have worked so well to make that happen. She said that she'd rather get an unbelievable dig or block than a straight down kill any day, because she loves every single part of the game. But to be able to finally connect with her setter is exactly what she needs. Now here in this first set, already 3 kills.
Thank you very much, Alexandra DiCapua. And when you hear how much Taylor Head loves to play defense, perhaps it should come as no surprise to you, Dr. Reynaud, that she was one of the best at Arkansas in double-doubles, and she has certainly stepped up big time here in Tallahassee as well.
And she's a good size for that. Again, 5'10" is pretty average at this level, but she just makes it happen, and she's so competitive, and she looks like she has fun when she plays, always smiling and always encouraging her teammates.
Also important when Alexandra mentioned the tempo. It's been a work in progress for Florida State, finding that right tempo for Taylor Head. This time they set the middle, and that is what Lauren Robertson brings to this team. Chris Poole mentioned that she didn't play a lot of volleyball last year. Not a lot of people knew about her, but he watched film and saw how well she set the middle at Memphis and knew she would fit in here.
And she's got a great target to set it to. I could set it to Corey Lewis. My gosh, what an athlete, but she's got to have the right set, and they're giving it to her today.
And Lucy Trump just shredded that ball right through the seam off the right side, and Notre Dame sides out.
And I think that she really likes to hit down the line. Florida State's going to have to try and block that if they can, or make sure they stay back deep enough to dig her.
Second kill of the match for Trump, who recorded the opening point of the match here this afternoon. Bjork serves it in and out.
You know, she was going for that cross-court shot and just almost landed on the line judge's feet.
It's been a fun first set. Each of these teams approaching a nearly 300 team hitting percentage in this set. Gardy on the attack. Corey Lewis turned back. Back set to Koenig. What an impressive swing, and what an impressive ball to swing at.
And that's only her 7th swing. I mean, they have kept her in the back row a long time.
And that was Kylene Filimawa, the libero, who has also played outside and opposite here, who's got setter hands and just showed them off.
Oh, I think she's a phenomenal setter. I love to watch her. I mean, she jump sets no matter where she is, but she's a great defensive player, too.
Couple of digs, 3 assists so far for Kylene Filimawa. And how about this run for Florida State? It wasn't that long ago they were trailing by 3. What's made the difference?
Well, I think they've just snuck it in. Really good defense. They've started digging the ball back off the net. They've been able to connect with Corey Lewis. I think they've been smart on their off-speed shots. That's been able to score a little bit more.
And so as Florida State breaks the huddle, cleaning up that first ball contact, opening up the offense a little bit more, Notre Dame will try to find the answers. I mentioned just a couple of points ago that each of these teams are approaching hitting 300 as a team in the set. In fact, they're both currently hitting 289, so it has been a really fun first set.
And they've got, you know, players hitting them at 750. I mean, you know, we're seeing some real stars out here today.
Fiona Schrader has been the leading scorer on the floor for either side. 6 kills on 8 swings. To, as you mentioned, hit 750 so far. She will still be back row for Notre Dame. It's tight. She sets Gardy. Back set to Snyder. Have yourself a set, Maddie Snyder.
She's done a nice job, usually hitting cross court and again going through the seam of that block.
4th kill on 5 swings for Snyder, and she delivers set point. Gardy again. Lewis again. Great defense. Lewis will try one more time. Trump tip back. Gardy picked up by Head. What a rally.
Lots of different shots.
Snyder picked up by Trump. Palazzolo launches from the back row. What a play by Head. Great defense by the Noles. Gardy slipped it inside the block, and after a wacky rally, of course, that's how it ends.
There were lots of different kind of one-handed saves. They've changed the rules a little bit on ball handling, so you can see teams kind of throwing it around on their side, but, you know, they're keeping the ball in play and making the rallies exciting.
All right, everybody catch your breath. You've more than earned it at this point. Still set point for Florida State, now just a side out away. It'll be the junior Lucy Trump back to serve. Corey Lewis. Gardy on the attack. Good stretch by Filamawa, and look at the strength at the net by Notre Dame.
I'm a little surprised they didn't come out to Aubrey Koenig on that one since she's in the front row, but still trying to just move it around and get that Notre Dame block a little bit loosened up.
Never say die spirit. You can see it embodied in Notre Dame here in this first set. And Coach Alexandra mentioned it right out of the open. This is a team that has played really tight matches against top 25 caliber teams. Even took a set off of a top 5 Stanford. They've got this in them.
Oh, they look fantastic out here. I mean, there's some excellent defensive plays. They've blocked some balls. While they're maybe not stuff blocks, they're making Florida State hit it again and again. And I think it's been a very outstanding first set for Notre Dame.
As we take a look at their bottom 2 lines for a second, Coach, because this ACC slate this year is loaded with landmines left and right. There doesn't seem to be a single weak team in this league this year.
You know, I talked with Chris Poole before the match about you used to have to schedule tough that out-of-season, out-of-conference matches, and now you get to the conference and you're playing the top teams in the country. So it's been incredible to see what the addition of some of these teams have done to the ACC and the strength. And of course, you know, Louisville and Pitt are strong again. It's been exciting.
Florida State themselves sharing the ACC championship a season ago with Pittsburgh and actually received the ACC's auto bid because they beat Pitt head-to-head. Still looking for set 1, though. Great defense again by Notre Dame. But that time it falls to the floor. 2 Fighting Irish players tried to get that ball up. Neither could, and the Noles win set 1, 25-22. What a great start to this match in Tallahassee today. FSU on the board first.
Kate made progress with her mental health, but her medication caused unintentional movements in her face, hands, and feet called tardive dyskinesia, or TD. So her doctor prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily extended-release TD treatment for adults. Austedo XR significantly reduced Kate's TD movements.
Again, Sydney Palazzolo dumping serve. Point Florida State at Tully Gym here in Tallahassee, Florida. If you're just joining us, Sean Davison alongside Dr. Cecile Reynaud, Alexandra DeCapua on the sideline. Our entire crew here with you in Florida's capital city for this ACC contest. Filamawa sets Snyder, who looks for that back corner, but put too much juice on it and missed the end line.
And that is such a fun tip, you know, to be strong enough and have your arm and wrist strong enough that you can tip it that deep. Usually that shot is open.
So 1 point each way off the attack error by Snyder. And how about that serve? Hunting the sideline, Anna Bjork. Koenig in transition, and that is something Florida State has really been trying to fine-tune. They feel good off serve receive, but it's in transition. They've been trying to tighten the strings a little bit.
And I think it's, probably Audrey's been waiting to take a swing at a ball. She got stuck in the back row. That's at the end of that first match. Set.
A service error by Florida State knocks things up at 2 once again as Corey Lewis checks off the floor. And there's an ace serve for Lucy Trump.
Good strategy on Notre Dame to try and keep Audrey Koenig back, serve her deep, make her back up before she comes in to attack the ball.
So an ace to go along with a couple of kills and a couple of digs and a block for Trump. Snyder off speed, picked up by Monson. Palazzolo popped back over the net by Robertson. Great dig by Koenig. And there's Fiona Schrader just giving it a crack. My goodness, she can put some heat on the ball.
And there's the danger of having her be up in the front row and being left-handed and just being able to take a swing at it. Really effective. And a surprise for everybody.
That is a 1:39 p.m. wake-up call as Maddie Snyder is roofed.
I think Notre Dame is leading in blocks with 4.
Yes, that should be their 4th block. They're on a 4-0 run now. As Kelsey Perry catches hands. Great effort there by Taylor Head in the back row. The one-handed save. Gardy saved by Schrader. Palazzolo off speed, popped back by Snyder. And now off of Snyder's right hand, the kill for Palazzolo. A 5-0 run for Notre Dame.
I think they've switched to a 5-1 this set. Fiona setting all the way around now.
Koenig attacks the out of system. Gardy looking for the end line. Didn't find it, didn't catch a hand. And just going back to Notre Dame, going to the 5-1, that is something, too, that Coach Rockwell said that she mixed in at Miami, just changing some things, seeing what works, as I believe she went to the challenge card.
She did. She thinks there's a touch. And I think
original call is
block.
Point. Notre Dame, FSU is challenging, or Notre Dame is challenging a touch.
And so the point originally awarded to Florida State, putting an end to a 5-0 run by Notre Dame. And again, you mentioned that the touch or the lack of a touch is what Salima Rockwell is challenging. That's the second time she's challenged whether or not a ball has actually been touched by Florida State. She was successful in set number 1 and retained the challenge. We'll see if she's successful again.
Well, and she's got a good view where she was standing on the court. She could probably see it very well. But the
So some of the things that you can review, obviously in this case a touch, and it's bundled with in-out. There's also net touches and floor touches that can be looked at. Then there's also attack line faults. Did a back row player launch from in front of that 3-meter attack line, and then also service line foot faults. And so there's a number system too that accompanies, these challenges 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Review, the call will stand. Notre Dame will lose their challenge.
And that's Mark Prater informing us before he informs the masses here at Tully Gym that there was no touch, at least in terms of what he could see via replay. He's not ruling out the fact that there could have been one, but couldn't decide from those camera angles that there definitively was one, and Notre Dame loses the challenge.
And there's two officials, and then there are two line judges that all try and get a look at that, but sometimes it goes so fast, not always able to see it if there was a touch.
Now, if we go to a fifth set, you do get a challenge back. So Salima Rockwell will have to be judicious about how often she challenges and when she challenges, or if she challenges, until we could get to that point, but she would get one back in the fifth. And there's a service ace for Florida State. Kenna Phelan, who really exclusively served with her float serve a season ago. They opened things up and let her go to the jump top, but has been a little more high error of late, so she's gone back to the float, and she's gotten Notre Dame out of system. Koenig turned back by the block. Second effort for Koenig, and no turn in that back.
And it's nice to have a server that can serve a couple of different types of serves, and I think the top spin is good. If she feels like it, she can throw it up there and rip it. Just depends on who you're playing against, too, and what they're used to receiving.
Good service rotation for Kenna Phelan, and now on the back of Notre Dame going on a 5-0 run, Florida State has responded with a 3-0 run of their own. Sant back set to Schrader. And now a bump out to the pin. Yane Henke on the attack from the right side. And might there be a net violation?
Just a double contact. When you're trying to set the ball, that still has to be tight. That second contact has got to be clean.
Gardy off the pin records the kill. Out of system ball to Henke. Schrader off the block and out. Fiona Schrader tooling the block.
Again, I love this swing, this lefty going off the hands outside. She really got good control of her arm swing.
So it's 8-6 Notre Dame. First to 25, win by 2 for the second set. Best 3 sets out of 5 for the match. Audrey Koenig off the right side.
Good opportunity with just one blocker up for her to score. See, she's got the just huge hole in the block. She's able to put it through there.
6th kill for Audrey Koenig. And there's Sydney Palazzolo tooling the block for FSU. And Palazzolo records another kill.
We've seen both teams have really done a masterful job of that. Outside blockers have got to look for it and pull their hounds down if they want to stop that.
Out of the middle, Kelsey Perry. Turned back by the block. And that is a massive swing by Taylor Head.
And just a real short, quick set out to her. No time for the block to get set up.
FSU back within a point of the Fighting Irish. They'll send one of their 2 liberos back to serve, Kylene Filamawa. Sant sets Gardy out of the back row, and Gardy clips the sideline for the kill.
That was really an excellent swing. She knew she had to get around that middle blocker and just cut the corner.
How about the decision by Sant, too, to set the back row off less than ideal first ball contact?
Well, you know, if you've got people that can, sometimes it's easier to hit from the back row.
Out of the middle, Corey Lewis goes off speed. Now reversing the flow to Henke, and the transfer from Cal State LA is on the board here in the second set.
And you know, you've got, if you're Notre Dame, you've got to pay attention to Corey Lewis. And this is a great job by the setter to flip it back here to Henke. You can see the blocker goes the other direction again.
And so Phelan and Henke check out. Lauren Robertson checks in and drops in the ace. She had several against Louisville. Really applied a lot of good service pressure on the cards.
Yeah, and I think that's, it's so important to get points quickly. They seem to be going right here to this left back corner.
Trump got a whole lot of nothing. Corey Lewis and Taylor Head were ready.
I think that's the first time she's been blocked, but we think she likes to hit down the line. If they cover that, she'll have to change it up.
FSU poking ahead by 1. And Lauren Robertson's serve misses the sideline.
You get these points and you get some rallies going and you get a little bit of momentum, and then you have a service error.
Something tells me as a coach you don't particularly enjoy that.
You just start rounding the corner and then you run over the curb yourself, and it's frustrating.
I'll tell you what, something you can enjoy as a coach is a swing like that. FSU siding out immediately off the service error with a kill by Taylor Head.
Fun to watch.
Lewis out of the middle. And if Florida State can get Corey Lewis going, look out.
Just 3 nice controlled contacts, a pass to the setter, a great set, and Lewis able to put it away.
She hit in the 200s against Louisville. It brought her season hitting percentage down to 462. Brought it down to 462.
Yeah, there's something that's tragic. She's just a phenomenal player. Really enjoy watching her. I know she had a lot of experience this summer with the collegiate national team.
Won silver at the Norseca Final 6. The Dominican Republic winning gold. And that was trouble from first contact on.
What a solid block, and you can see how excited Notre Dame was. Florida State will probably come back with a tip or off speed or a roll, something to get around that block.
All, set 2. Florida State winning the first set 25-22. On the slide, Corey Lewis dug up by Schrader. Gardy. You mentioned the off speed. There's Taylor Head going off speed from the back row. And Maddie Snyder snuck that ball inside the block for another kill.
Just a super fast arm swing, able to get it right inside that blocker's arms.
Fifth kill for Snyder. Back set, Trump off speed, picked up by Ella Gaona. Gardy over the reach of Taylor Head. All-out effort by the All-American from Arkansas. But alas, we're tied once more.
And you can see Gardy just hitting almost up on the ball to get that deflection.
Great second set for Morgan Gardy. Now she equaling Fiona Schrader with 8 kills as leading scorers for Notre Dame. She is the leading scorer for Notre Dame. Kill number 9 for Morgan Gardy. And that takes us to the midway media break here in set 2. Notre Dame leading it by 1 over the 21st ranked Seminoles of Florida State. Well, I mentioned it before the break. Morgan Gardy has really picked up the pace here in set number 2 already, and she's hitting 300 in this set alone.
And if you look at the number of attempts, she's got 29 attempts that swings at the ball, and the next highest is 14, so she's got more than half the sets.
On the day, 9 kills, hitting 241 with a couple of blocks, and Notre Dame pads the lead to 2. Grace Langer on the board with a kill. Snyder turned back by the block, and after recording the kill, Grace Langer gets the stuff.
It's been fun to watch all these different people get involved in the block, and it's, again, once you see that net cam is such a good shot of seeing those hands over the net.
Good pass there by Koenig, who tried to cut that ball sharply in transition off of her pass, but ended up with it on her own side of the tape.
And that's a real rare error for her, but once you see those blockers' hands come over, you try and cut it. And that was a little bit too tight.
Timeout, Florida State. It was Notre Dame leading by 1 at the media timeout. They have won the next 3 points. They won the first 2 going into the media timeout. They're on a 5-0 run.
And some of it's been Florida State making some errors, and some of it's just been Notre Dame dominating. But the fact that Morgan's getting, so many swings and so many opportunities, Florida State's got to understand that they've got to get her blocked, with the other players getting 14 attempts, 12 attempts, 11 attempts. And Florida State spread out a lot more, so you're not really sure who's going to get to swing at the ball.
And this is a Notre Dame team that has played teams tight to this point in ACC play. We mentioned the quality and the depth of the league, and when you take a look at the RPI rankings, Louisville 2, Pitt 3, Stanford 5, SMU 11, UNC 19, Florida State 21, Georgia Tech 5 sets in Dallas. You've got #1 Pitt, #2 Nebraska, each have 1 loss, and both of them lost to SMU in Dallas.
And SMU is really going to be a phenomenal team to watch. I can't wait to see them come here, and I think that's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, they will be closing the curtain on FSU's home slate during Thanksgiving week, as Notre Dame's trying to slam the door shut here in set #2. The lead up to 5 for the Fighting Irish on a 6-0 run. And the service error puts an end to that rotation. Each of these teams, Coach, susceptible at times to runs. Salima Rockwell telling us so about her team before the match began. And Chris Poole also mentioning earlier this week that especially in rotations where he doesn't have the veteran Corey Lewis at the net, and Kelsey Perry, who they didn't expect to play as much this year, is up there, and she's figuring things out. You get some more inexperience up there, and you can get stuck from time to time.
Well, and it's just a game of rotations. Who's in the front row, who's in the front row, and who are you playing against up there at that time. So certainly weaker rotations, and some that you want to, play in a lot. If you've got a strong rotation, you want to get as many points as you can while you're there.
And I was just about to say, I'll tell you who's got a strong rotation going right now. Notre Dame immediately responds to the FSU side out with one of their own. They're first into that final 5-point red zone here in set 2, once again leading by 5. Make it 4.
And then those back-to-back serving errors are something that really breaks up that momentum that they had going. So they want to continue to be aggressive, but not reckless on their serves.
Speaking of serving, Audrey Koenig back to serve. She can go on a run, but a player who's really gone on a run here is Grace Langer, with some strong swings here in this latter third of set #2.
And again, that takes just some great setting to put it up where those people can reach it. 6'3", so she's got a big reach too. It's got to be high enough for her.
Yane Henke off the right.
And we've got a perfect view of seeing her hit through the hole in that block. She's really very strong and hits cross court a lot. Notre Dame could pull in that block. They might cut that shot off.
Schrader. Well, we've seen her put plenty of heat on the ball. That took IQ. Saw the block, tipped it straight over, and nobody was there to cover.
And she drew her arm back like she was going to hit hard. So you do stay back to dig that ball.
Notre Dame within 3 points of equalizing this match, 1 set apiece. Good pass and a massive swing and kill for Taylor Head, the beneficiary.
She looked like she was angry on that, didn't she? I mean, that was a feisty swing. You'll see she just goes up and plants it.
Out of the middle, and there's a block for Florida State. And Notre Dame just out-grits them defensively in that rally.
Defense. I mean, that's a dive. With Hattie Monson, I mean, that was just a beautiful defensive save.
Chris Poole coming in, having a word with Mark Prater, the down referee.
I think he's just discussing whether the ball stayed in bounds or not.
And Chris Poole is going to go to the monitor for the first time.
I think he's challenging in or out. I'm not sure whether he's questioning whether or not it went inside the antenna, it crossed over inside the antenna, or hit outside the net, outside the antenna on the net, but Mark Prater's going to take a look and will let us know what he finds.
Well, Mark Prater was holding up 2 fingers, and so when you go back to the challenge system, you're right on the money, Coach. 2 fingers indicates an in-out challenge. So now the multiple levels to what you mentioned there is where things get interesting. Is it where the ball landed, or is it inside or outside of the antenna on the defensive effort to get the ball back across for Florida State?
Well, there was an awesome defensive play by the Notre Dame player who dove through the air and dug it back out. Just wanted to make sure maybe that didn't go into the net at that time. But Chris Poole's got the challenge to use, so we'll see if he gets to keep it or he loses that one.
We'll take another look.
See, I'm not sure if he thinks it went into.
Upon review, the call is confirmed. Tremendous work by Hattie Monson defensively, getting to that ball with a web gem dig, and that puts Notre Dame within 2 points of the set.
That fires a team up for sure for that kind of defensive effort and for that to work out.
Trump dug up by Koenig. Koenig back row into the tape.
Trying that off-speed shot again. She's got to get over that 3-person block. A little more under the ball and over.
Set points now for Notre Dame. And Corey Lewis will erase one of them.
Perfect height set for her. Again, she really likes to try and hit to this left back position.
That is kill number 5 for Lewis in this match. And it sends Taylor Head back to serve. Good pass. Schrader reverses the flow to Trump. Koenig and Florida State keep it rolling.
Nice. Again, we've seen some great hits high off those hands. Notre Dame's defense cannot chase it out of there.
Now to the outside. Gardy looking for the sideline, missed it. Timeout, Notre Dame.
Good. I think a good play by Coach Salima Rockwell just to take a timeout and stop the run. She knows that's what we need to do for her team to get it back in gear.
The Notre Dame head coach had both of her timeouts at her disposal, and so a chance to hit the reset button.
She was a great setter herself, and she's talking to Fiona. Of course, it's got to be wonderful to be coached by somebody like Salima in your own position.
And there is Salima Rockwell, as you mentioned, a tremendous setter at Penn State, which Penn State under Russ Rose year in, year out I don't want to say a shoe-in to win a national championship, but they were in the conversation, and they won a lot of them.
They won a lot in a row, and she was there as a player or as an assistant coach. She's been part of a lot of national championships.
National championships, also as a player on the U.S. national team for several years, including a run to the quarterfinals in the 1996 Atlanta Olympiad. She was a captain of the Olympic team, or excuse me, of the national team from 98 to 99 as well. And so there's the ever impressive resume.
I think she knows what's going on. She knows how to recruit. She knows how to coach. She's worked with some brilliant coaches as well.
Gardy, dug up by Filamaua. Florida State's won the last 3 points. What a save by Head. And somebody was in the net. Looks like Trump.
I believe they held up 7, which means Trump is her number. She would have been in the net during that rally. So how can Coach Rockwell push them across the line here? Just 1 point, 1 swing is all they need.
Back set Trump. And she tools the block for the kill and set number 2. So after Florida State wins set 1, 25-22, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame on the road in Tallahassee today exact the same exact revenge, winning set 2 by that same margin to equalize things at the end. That was Miami's paint and pink match. So thumbs up to Notre Dame for understanding what's going on in both places and doing their part to back to the action here in Tallahassee. Maddie Snyder rejected by the block, and that department has really made my eyebrows raise today for Notre Dame. Coach, this is not what the black and white on the stat sheet says that they do as well as they've done today.
And that's why you have to play the game, and I'm telling you, Morgan Gardy has really lit up the net in her blocking.
Gardy's block sends Bjork back to serve, and Taylor Head knows exactly what to do with the overdig.
I think once you get the hang of blocking, you understand how exciting it is that you can just intimidate somebody on the other side of the net and shut them down. It's a fun part of the game to watch.
Lucy Trump making Mama proud, beating the block off the right side. And Notre Dame leads 2-1.
And she looks like she's going to go cross court, but man, she turns that arm, and it's wicked swing down the line.
There's something especially exciting about watching right side hitters shred down the line, isn't there?
I think it's fun. It's very hard to do, but they're effective. And they have taken Corey Lewis, getting some digs on her.
Yeah, Corey Lewis has had a quieter stat day today offensively than we're used to seeing. And that's really, she's put some good swings on the ball, but they have dug up a lot of her swings.
Yeah, she's able to dig, but you've got to make sure, she's got to make sure she changes that around a little bit. Can't keep hitting to that same spot.
And for Florida State, if Corey Lewis has gone a little quiet, the good news is they've gotten good production out of their opposites so far today, in addition to Audrey Koenig, who continues to do Audrey Koenig things.
And Florida State's got so many weapons and so many people that can put the ball away with authority.
9th kill for Audrey Koenig, who looks to extend her streak of matches with 10 or more kills. Gardy beat the block.
I think Perry's up there. She's in good position. Just needs to seal that block a little bit more. Get her forearms right on the top of the net so it can't come through.
And so with that kill, Morgan Gardy leads all scorers on the floor and the first to reach double digits with 10. Perry turned back by the block, and Notre Dame has their second stuff of set 3.
And I think they've pulled in 2 blockers on her. She's got to have to see those blockers maybe tip over that side or hit back here to right back.
5-2 Fighting Irish. Back row, Taylor Head, hello there.
She's just got so much power. I mean, she winds up, and it just comes unleashed. It's really fun to watch her explosive hit.
7 kills, 16 digs. Taylor Head actually leads Florida State in digs per set. She's recorded as many as 21 against Miami. And FSU, that'll feel good after some of the struggles at the net early in this set, creating a little chaos of their own. And just like that, the Noles are back within a point. Sant back set Schrader, and Fiona Schrader finds the back corner. I'm just enjoying watching her play.
No, I think it's really unusual, again, to see somebody, because everybody trains them as setters or as hitters, and to be able to do both in this highly competitive arena is really outstanding.
She's got 11 assists, 10 kills, and 7 digs, so working on perhaps triple-double number 8. And we're still in set 3. That time, though, FSU's block was ready and rejects Schrader at the net.
Yeah, she almost had to duck her head not to get the ball back in it. Really efficient job with the Florida State block.
Koenig locates the jump top and drops in the ace.
And if Florida State could get the ball to her, and that while she's in the back row, it gets some attacks, I think that would help them out.
6-all. Better pass off serve receive. That was Monson taking it on first contact. There's Monson again, this time defensively. Head off the Schrader block. Back row, Gardy stuffed.
Florida State pulled in all 3 blockers. Nice, solid block. Ready for that back row attack. It's tough to get it by those 3.
Off the tape. And no touch, no sideline, point FSU.
Yeah, just clip the antenna, I believe.
Now it's the Noles on a scoring run. They've won the last 4 points. Nice pass, but a misfire out of the middle by Anna Bjork.
Yeah, just not quite high enough for her with that set. She's got to get it up there.
Timeout, Notre Dame.
A lot of time when middles have a hitting error, it's usually because the setter didn't get it where it needed to be.
5-0 run for the Noles, leading by 3. Midway, set 3 in Tallahassee.
Get ready for hosting at the Home Depot with free delivery on over 2 million items every day, so you can refresh your space before.
Taylor Head and Florida State lead by 3 in this third set. 7 kills, 17 digs for Head.
And I mean, when she hits the ball, it's been explosive and some really phenomenal digs.
And largely when Fiona Schrader has hit the ball, it's been explosive for Notre Dame. That time, though, tried to float it to the back corner and floated it too far.
And Notre Dame's got to really stop this run by Florida State if they want to stay in this.
Overpass, and Taylor Head tried to put it away. Nice up by Gardy. Head in transition and dug out of play by Schrader.
I think she hits it so hard she just blew those blockers' arms off the net.
A 7-0 run for Florida State. Better pass. Schrader finds the back corner that time.
That time she actually had no block up against her. Florida State got moved into the middle and left this right sideline open.
And so now, after her 11th kill, Fiona Schrader goes back to serve. Henke, cross court.
I think we've seen her hit that shot every time. Notre Dame's middle just can't quite get over there. Again, she's trying to protect the middle of the court and staying with that middle attacker.
4 kills, 4 digs for Janne Henke. Schrader on the run to set Trump, and Lucy Trump off the block and down.
We've seen Notre Dame make a couple of substitutions, just trying to change things up.
Mia Radef just checking out. Has only played in 4 matches prior to today. Kaylee Dockery checking in and commits the service error.
Just this momentum swings back and forth and back and forth, and Florida State's riding it right now, but Notre Dame's got to get a pass and get the ball away.
Speaking of a good pass, Notre Dame got it, but there was nowhere for Gardy to go at the pin.
That was a phenomenal block. Kind of call that a phone booth where it comes right back at you.
And in this 3rd set, it's Florida State's block that has asserted itself. 4 blocks in this set alone for the Seminoles. Koenig back row. Will there be a touch call? None yet, and there won't be. And Chris Poole thinks there should have been.
Seminoles are challenging ball for first touch.
The ruling on the court is point Notre Dame. Florida State's challenging a block touch.
Once again, Mark Prater letting us know that FSU is challenging the thought that there was no touch on the block. Audrey Koenig on a back row attack called for an attack error because, as the officials called it in the moment, no touch on the part of Notre Dame.
And this is, Florida State is, I think Notre Dame just has 1 challenge left, and Florida State has, is this their first challenge?
It's been a good 3rd set, though, for Florida State, largely. Each of the first 2 sets were tight up to the midway point, and then a team gained some separation in the latter stages. This here, Florida State just went on a run almost from the outset.
Yeah, they look just a little bit different on the court, really strong in their block, very dominating. And we've seen some attacks from all over the court. Audrey Koenig's playing a little bit tighter and better. And these touches are so tough to call.
After review, the call stands. Florida State loses their challenge.
Whoa. And so, with that, Chris Poole and FSU are out of challenges until perhaps we get to a 5th set.
So they've just got to play as hard as they can.
You got that right. Can Notre Dame ride this wave of momentum here? Strong serve down the line. That's tight. And it looks like a net fault will be called against Notre Dame.
I'm not sure if it's a net call or somebody was over the line, but it was definitely a violation.
Service error, point right back to the Fighting Irish.
This should be a good rotation for Florida State. They've got Koenig and Lewis Up in the front row, Snyder.
And an overpass that Schrader terminates. Indeed, Notre Dame has the potential and the ability to ride this wave of momentum.
And going at, they've served Koenig a few times just to try and keep her out of her offensive rhythm.
12 kills, 12 assists for Schrader. And this time Koenig goes off speed over the block and down.
Really smart plays. Got a good solid block in front of her. Puts it in the middle of that defense. Somebody's got to make a decision to play it.
FSU's lead sits at 5 midway through set 3. Each of these teams looking to take a 2-1 lead. Dupes back to serve, now showing off the defense. Koenig dropping the hammer across court. And we're going to get a challenge from Salima Rockwell. And we've got a massive injury over here. I don't want to say massive, but we have a significant collision on the floor. It's Kaylee Dockery on the floor. There's another Fighting Irish player who came up from the floor bloodied. Oh, it's good to see that. Everybody's up. Ella Sant is the other player that I mentioned.
And I believe we had a challenge on a net call. I believe Notre Dame challenged FSU in the net.
And Mark Prater will deliver the news. The point remains with Florida State. The call stands on the floor. And so now both teams are out of challenges.
I think Audrey Koenig was in the net. And I think the other thing we're waiting on is maybe just to get a possibly the drop of blood off of the court.
Yeah, the facilities staff here, Caleb Kelmer leading the charge at Tully Gym. They do a tremendous job at Tully Gym, and so he and his crew are coming out to make sure that the floor is cleaned up and safe for Notre Dame to continue play on here in this third set.
And this is a, I mean, it's a certainly a break in the match, and glad to see that both those players are okay. And then to have the challenge on top of it, there's lots of things going on. And then, of course, the athletic trainers are gloved up, and everybody's being sterile, getting the court cleaned up.
Yeah, immediately after the conclusion of the point, Salima Rockwell came running for the challenge card, put up the challenge card, and then it became very clear that there was something even more significant going on injury-wise. She didn't even notice it at first when she was looking for the challenge card, and then turned around and realized that two of her players had collided and were taking a while to get up. But Ella Sant is heading back to the floor. So too is Kaylee Dockery, number 5 and number 44, each in white for Notre Dame. And that's just, of all things, that is the greatest thing to see over the last few minutes.
And they, both players going for a ball and just hitting foreheads, and you know how dangerous that is.
And there's a service error. The challenge and the injury, certainly the intent was not to ice the server for Florida State, but after all of that waiting,
right.
After all of that waiting, that is effectively what happened. Gardy will go back to serve. Nice pass by Head. And Audrey Koenig rolls it over the block.
Those sets have been a little bit tight. You know, I think last time Coach Rockwell thought that Audrey Koenig was in the net. This time it was a little bit tight. Both teams need to keep that ball off the net so their hitters can get a full swing at it.
13. Back row, Carney stuffed. That's got to feel good for Kelsey Perry, who struggled earlier in this match at the net.
And that's what we call a solo block, just up there by yourself, hands over, nicely placed. You can see she's excited about that.
Rightfully so. Block number 4 for Perry. And that was trouble from first contact on. Grace Langer was jammed up on serve receive.
And a great place to serve the ball short. That right front position at the net is tough to pass.
And so with that, Salima Rockwell calls timeout. Florida State really stepping it out here. This is the first set where either team has afforded themselves this much breathing room to this point in the match.
And I think she's just going to, Coach Rockwell's going to just try and get her team to understand it's one ball at a time, one play at a time, go back and do the things they were doing. Looks like she's talking to them about hitting off the block. But, man, she's got their attention. Look at all eyes on her as she fills them with some of the stuff that she knows and she's seeing up close to win at the highest level.
Yeah, and she certainly knows a lot. Speaking of people who know a lot, Chris Poole also knows a fair bit as the second active winningest head coach.
Lots of years coaching and really been very successful.
A dominant set for Florida State in terms of kills, in terms of blocks, especially where to this point in the match it felt like Notre Dame had actually developed the edge over the Noles. 5 blocks to 2 in this third set, and now FSU leads in the block count for the match, 9.5 to 7.5. There's been an ace as well in this set, and so it's been a comprehensive showing for the Noles in set number 3.
We've had it all.
We have seen a little bit of everything. Kenneth Phelan will get us back underway. Sant sets the pin. Palazzolo records the kill. Audrey Koenig ran out of room at the scorer's table.
Just a nice controlled swing. A little bit unusual of an uncontrolled dig on Florida State side.
That puts an end to a 3-0 run by the Seminoles. Hattie Monson back to serve. And Yane Henke delivers the kill for FSU.
She got saved on that one. I believe that was going out of bounds until Notre Dame went for it.
And there's an ace serve for AK.
We haven't seen too many ace serves today.
We've seen plenty of service errors. Florida State with 4 aces to 8 errors. Each team actually has 8 errors. Notre Dame only 1 ace to those 8 errors. Koenig, in addition to the 2 aces and being in double figures in scoring, as we mentioned earlier, 10 digs, so a double-double for Audrey Koenig today. That misses the sideline, and Notre Dame sides out. Florida State within 3 points of the set and taking a 2-1 lead. Tight. And that's going to go to Notre Dame. And there is what I thought I saw earlier, an illegal back row touch. Kenneth Phelan went up there and ended up making contact with a player on the other side of the net.
And I think the ball was in the plane of the net, so that gives Notre Dame an opportunity to touch there. And that makes her a back row attacker. Phelan.
Taylor Head rolls it over the block. Palazzolo caught hands. And Taylor Head caught that block on its way back.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you get yourself out of the way, but they really directed it right back at her. Smart play to have their hands in the right spot.
Good run here for the Fighting Irish. They've scored the last 3 points. Phelan reverses the flow, and Henke finds the floor.
We've seen her hit the ball hard a lot of times, but that open position, and you know, they just ran into each other and knocked heads, so there may be some hesitation going for those balls.
Florida State's opposites are 11 of 25 in this match. That's a smart shot into the campfire by Notre Dame.
You know, Sean, you really need 7 people to play good defense. There's always a hole. You can just get one more person out there, it'd be a different game.
That's a great concept. Maybe in your next book you should include that.
I've tried to start that.
And that is a great concept for Florida State. It's nothing new. It's what they've gone to time and time again, and they certainly hope this is the start of Corey Lewis getting going.
It's tough to dig those plays up. I mean, she gets up that high and has that wrist snap. Tough to dig.
Only 1 error for Corey Lewis, but just the 6 kills because the defense has been so good by Notre Dame. Gardy and Notre Dame stave off a set point. The Fighting Irish need a run. They're currently hitting a negative for this 3rd set. Florida State hitting nearly 300 by comparison. Good work by Robertson. Back row. Trump. Will there be a touch call? No. Point and set to the Seminoles. A 7-point win in set number 3 for the 21st ranked Florida State Seminoles here at Lucy McDaniel Court at Tully Gym.
Watch MLB postseason on Fox and FS1 from the best seat in the house with Xfinity in clear, enhanced 4K. Whether the game is on TV or streaming.
Like here in the 4th set, must-win set for Notre Dame. 1st to 25, win by 2. We'll either wrap things up in 25 points or we're going to be heading to a 5th. Off speed over the block. That's a smart shot by Taylor Head, number 1 in black.
And she's able to score on that again because she swings so hard, but so smart just to change it up. That hole in the middle of Notre Dame's defense has been effective to hit today.
Back set, Trump down the line. Head off speed over the block once more. Great dig. Great block. That's Anna Bjork.
And that's pretty impressive to get the hands on that with Corey Lewis. And you can tell Corey Lewis, you know, she's anxious for that ball to come back, but nice job of reading and putting her hands in front of where Corey was trying to hit the ball.
Anna Bjork, a 4-time participant in that USA Volleyball National Team Development Program in high school. A high degree of pedigree for Bjork, who makes her way off the floor. Florida State able to side out, and they will send Taylor Head back to serve.
Notre Dame's they've had a couple of matches where they've gone to 5 recently, and so they're going to have to really push hard to see if they can get this to go to a 5th set.
That's been kind of their thing in ACC play against top 25 teams. Lucy Trump swinging away from the right side. What a save by Monson. And there you go. Morgan Gardy can tip her cap to her libero. Gardy, the beneficiary of an all-out defensive effort.
And doesn't that just inspire everybody to go for a ball? My gosh. I mean, as a hitter, you want to really make that work.
Strong start to set 4, 2 points apiece. Koenig, dug up by Palazzolo. And there's Corey Lewis with a rejection. And so
I'm really impressed with Gardy, though, as a freshman. She's really held her own out here today.
100%. Corey Lewis back to serve. It's something she's been doing more of lately. She induces the overpass, and Kelsey Perry puts it down. A couple of things on Corey Lewis serving, Coach. It allows Florida State to run a more natural 6-2 for her to go back there, and for her, who wants to play pro volleyball, this helps.
No, it's definitely going to help her. And again, a lot of middles don't ever serve the ball, but it's important for him to get to do that.
Snyder looking through the seam, found the end line.
And internationally, there's only 6 substitutions, so that's why it ends up that the middles have to serve. Yeah, nice roll shot right at the corner.
That's pushed out of play.
That was a definite little push, but again, strong effort to try and get that in the deep corner.
And I'll tell you what, a year or two ago, I don't think I would have ever believed that I would say this. Strong service rotation for Corey Lewis.
There you go.
That's tight. Snyder heads up at the net. Gardy heads up as well. Gets that ball across. Sant pulled out on first contact. Schrader off speed, picked up by Snyder. Point Notre Dame.
I was hoping I was going to get to see Corey Lewis with a big dig back there in the back row.
It's still early in the 4th set. There is a possibility.
All right.
We've seen a lot of things today. Head handles the jump top, and Snyder targets the block and tools it for the kill.
Just able to give it off with Palazzolo, but I think she's really got kind of a different arm swing. You've got to judge the timing on your block.
Florida State's opposites coming into this set 10 of 24, 4 attack errors, hitting 250. So if you can get that kind of production off the right side, that is good enough to draw blockers' attention. Snyder doing her part in this set as well. And Kenna Phelan locates the float for an ace.
They seem like they've started going after Morgan Gardy just a little bit on that serve reception.
And Salima Rockwell has seen enough. In a must-win set, the Fighting Irish trail it by 5. Timeout, Notre Dame.
They're just trying to take a little bit of time, maybe gather their thoughts, see if they can't get the reception that they need, get their front row going up on for Notre Dame, and what they're going to have to do to shut down Florida State's offense.
Meanwhile, for the Seminoles, off a strong service rotation by Corey Lewis. They'll discuss things as well. We take a look at the hit percentage by set. If you like defense largely, this match has been for you, save for the second set where and so again, a set Notre Dame must win. They trail by 5. We'll see if Salima Rockwell has pressed the right buttons, found the right formula.
And they're certainly capable of pulling this back out. Again, just 1 point at a time. They can't think too far ahead.
Without question, when you look at this Notre Dame team compared to what they looked like years prior, they have taken a big step forward here in 2024. We'll see what they can do in set number 4.
And I think it's just consistency that they're looking for, that's all.
Schrader tried to misdirect the tip, and FSU really just out-grits and out-chaoses the Fighting Irish at the net there. Even Audrey Koenig had to come away and chuckle.
But I think Notre Dame's got all the tools. And again, just trying to be consistent from point to point. Which is the mystery every coach is trying to figure out. Ever.
Yeah, once you find the magical solution for that, you could sell it, right?
Any sport, exactly.
Oh, that's a nice set by Sant. Quick to the middle, and that was number 33, Grace Langer, putting down the kill.
We haven't seen too many of these behind the setter sets. That's kind of fun. Walker's not quite ready for it.
Henke, off hands, and Maisie Alexander runs out of room.
And they just don't stop, do they? They just keep going defensively.
How about that set to Schrader?
And how about that swing?
Oh.
That just flew over our heads just about.
I think that ball might have landed in Thomasville.
I think Thomasville's the other direction, but
probably. I majored in talking, not geography.
Right.
Henke cross court. Trump on the attack, play blown dead, net violation likely against Notre Dame, or maybe stepping over that line.
Center line, sure, center line.
And that goes down as an attack error when that happens. So it's an attack error on Lucy Trump, who's called forward.
This is another strong front line, I think, for Florida State.
Pin to pin, and from the back row to the front as well. Notre Dame really moving the ball around and finding some decent looks. Feeling that is so smart.
And that was a BB of a serve and an awesome pass, and then to just put that ball over is it's just really catching him off guard here. I mean, this is an excellent pass, and Phelan just knows exactly where that shot is open, and it really keeps the defense off balance.
Kind of Phelan has called her own number 4 times today and recorded kills every single time she's done so. Back set goes to Trump, and Lucy Trump records the kill off the touch.
Again, her shot is down the line, and she's effective at it.
Another assist for Fiona Schrader, 16 now in the match. And Taylor Head drops the hammer for Florida State.
Just love watching her play. Just such a good athlete and such a fast arm swing.
Strong serve. And the point goes to Florida State.
Ended up with the back row attacker, back row setter, making contact. Just have to always keep that pass off the net.
A couple of times the Fighting Irish have gotten into trouble with that. And I'll tell you what, speaking of just the word that, get used to seeing that for Notre Dame moving forward. Morgan Gardy has been awfully impressive, especially as ACC play has gotten going.
She's just got, you know, so many talents and so many skills. And once she gets more experience at this level, she's going to be phenomenal.
13 kills for Gardy. 14 kills for Gardy.
And she looks like she's extremely competitive and really holding her own out there.
The freshman has recorded as many as 18 in the 5-set loss to Georgia Tech. Koenig Did it catch the antenna? Yeah, I saw it vibrating, and that is the call. Timeout, Florida State. Notre Dame has trimmed the lead down to 4.
And it just, again, 1 point at a time. You can't get too focused on being so many points out there, but I think Notre Dame is really competitive and trying to figure out a way to win this.
Don't forget to check into your...
The lead has been as large as 7 for the Seminoles. The Fighting Irish have won the last 3 points. They need to win the 4th set as back here in Tallahassee. Florida State leading by 4 in this 4th set. Lucy Trump set to serve it in. High reach for Corey Lewis. Schrader on the run, sets Gardy, and Gardy had nowhere to go.
Yeah, just a tough set off the net and really tried to play it back in.
Lead back to 5 for Florida State. And Ella Gaona goes back to serve. Sent back set to Schrader on the attack. And Florida State tools to block for the kill. Gardy, another kill.
Nice wrist snap, nice high swing, and nice wrist snap. Florida State's been passing very well, so their offense has been pretty smooth this set.
Knowles hitting 273 as a team in this 4th set to Notre Dame's 160. Gardy goes back to serve. Out of system, Koenig rolls it to the corner and down.
I think somebody from Notre Dame slipped over there, and she wasn't quite in position to dig that ball, but it was a good placement with Koenig. You can see Hattie Monson slipped and couldn't quite get to the ball.
14 kills, 12 digs for Audrey Koenig. And another great effort by Monson, but it'll go wanting. Didn't slip that time, found the wheels to get to that ball and make a play on it.
And the pursuit of the ball is really impressive. It's so important to see that. They just don't give up on a play.
Seven-point lead for Florida State as Hattie Monson and the Fighting Irish discuss things with Salima Rockwell. And we opened the show by mentioning that Fiona Schrader had 7 triple-doubles on the season coming into this match. Guess what, folks? She has her 8th. 13 kills, 18 assists, 13 digs. And, Coach, I want to put this into context because I went through Notre Dame's impressive stuff from Schrader, and with more on the Notre Dame setter, here's Alexandra DeCapua.
Well, Coach, you mentioned before the match to Salima Rockwell about Fiona Schrader saying how few players in D1 volleyball can set and then transition up to the front row for a 6-2. Salima Rockwell said, I just let her loose, let her get creative. She loves to set, she loves to hit. And she's just such a dynamic player to have, and we've seen that here today. A triple-double is extremely impressive.
Extremely impressive and not as common an occurrence as maybe Fiona Schrader would like us to think it is. I thought it was interesting, too, Coach, that Salima Rockwell said sometimes, too, I tell her to be creative, and then she gets creative, and I say, okay, let's not be that creative.
And she loves the game. She loves to practice. She likes to, come into the gym and do anything with the ball. And just a fun athlete to coach. And, again, contributing. It's like playing offense and defense in football. I mean, you're playing all the time, and it's tough. She's putting some miles on those shoes.
She certainly has. And Florida State is starting to stretch their lead. I wouldn't say it's quite a mile advantage on Notre Dame in this 4th set, but it's getting close. 8 points, the largest it's been. make it 9. Kelsey Perry with her 5th stuff block of the match.
Yeah, really exciting, and Henke was in there to help out.
Strong service run here for Kenna Phelan. That was close to an overpass, and Notre Dame couldn't manage much out of that.
And that couldn't be any better of a serve. I mean, it is low and tight to the top of the net. Exactly where you want that serve to go.
5-0 run for Florida State. Monson sets the out of system to Schrader, who hammers it off the block. Koenig found the corner. And the Noles are rolling now.
And a little bit of a smile from Koenig.
Kill number 15 for Audrey Koenig in this match. Tied with Morgan Gardy as the leading scorers on the floor for either side. Johanna Sova checking into the front row now for FSU. And off of Sova's hand, played well by Koenig. The Noles are still in the rally. Not anymore.
You know, it's something when Florida State can bring in a 6'5" freshman in the middle, get her a little playing time. Johanna Sova is going to be fun to watch her grow.
Chris Poole has high hopes for Johanna Sova over the course of her Florida State career. Janne Henke over the block. Schrader right off the edge of the block and down. So Schrader continues to shred for Notre Dame, and that'll be her 15th kill. So Gardy's got 15, Schrader with 15, Koenig with 15. And there's a big block for the Fighting Irish. Anna Bjork teaming up with the reigning ACC second teamer and third leading point scorer from a season ago, Sydney Palazzolo. Tight. And that's a misconnection. Good run here for Notre Dame. Timeout, FSU.
Well, it's back and forth and back and forth. Again, trying to stop a run, I think, from Notre Dame.
The Fighting Irish have won each of the last 4 points preceding the timeout by Chris Poole. Seminoles trying to get out of here with a 3-1 win. This part of Notre Dame's first road weekend in the ACC. Florida State starting off ACC play on the road a lot. This is their only home weekend in October. They'll come back and they'll play at home a lot in the month of November. We'll get back to that in a second, but as we look at some of the numbers here through 4 sets, 51 to 49 kills, Florida State now hit. And I think the number, Coach, that we didn't see on there was the aces, 7 aces to 1. And aces aren't the sole determining statistical factor that show you that you're applying good service pressure. You can apply great service pressure without an ace. And in both metrics, Florida State's really stepped it up here.
No, I think, and again, they've been nice, aggressive service right along the top of the net. They're picking out a target. They're giving them a tough serve to handle. It either takes them out of their offense or they get aced.
Final seconds of the timeout. Everybody's back on the floor. The Noles within 3 points of sealing this match in 4. Monson serves it in. Henke dug up by Monson. Palazzolo on the cross. Henke down the line. And a free ball to Florida State. Koenig found the end line for the kill, number 16 for AK.
We haven't seen very many free balls at all today. I mean, everybody's been taking a swing at it. It's been a really aggressive match.
Service error. And that keeps things interesting here in this 4th set a little bit longer. Notre Dame finds a way to side out. And this is where they need a run. Could it be Schrader, who does a little bit of everything, that goes on a strong service rotation? That's in the antenna. Sydney Palazzolo's attack was in the antenna.
Nice play. I think just that was a little too far outside and clips that antenna, which is obviously out of bounds.
Match points, couple handfuls of them for the Seminoles. And that is a heck of a way to end it. Ace serve for the match.
Well, I thought we saw some great volleyball here tonight. And just I think a little bit about what that ACC volleyball is like. It's a very strong league this year. It's going to be fun to watch both of these teams proceed through the season.
Florida State improves to 4-2 in conference play. Notre Dame drops to 2-4. Next up for the Noles, a 4-match road run. BC, Syracuse, UNC, and Duke, before coming back home at the very beginning of November to take on Cal and a top 5 Stanford squad. Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, they get NC State and Wake at home before they go on a 3-match road ranked team run at SMU, at Pitt, at Louisville.